Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. Welcome to the show today. Today is August 31st, the last day of August, and tomorrow begins September, my birthday month. I'm so happy. I cannot wait to celebrate my birthday this year. I will be 55 years old. Now, it might be a coincidence, and then again, maybe not, that today we're going to have a top 10 list of the best gifts to give to the writer in your life. Now, if you're like me, there are so many different things that you like. You have varying tastes, but there are some things that seem to be fairly basic for most people who are into writing. So we're going to cover some of the best gifts that are common among writers. The first thing we're going to talk about, though, is Burkhart books. You all know that I have been writing for quite a while now as Stephen Burkhart. And the reason I did that was because after all my brain surgeries, I did not know if I would be able to be a good writer anymore. But the books have won awards. I've hit the bestsellers list a few times with them. And I think I feel confident enough now that I'm going to go on, try something new. I am writing a crime thriller now, something I've wanted to do for a long time. Because my first degree is in journalism, and I've always been a writer. But my second degree is in forensic criminology. I actually specialized in profiling and sex crimes and evidence collection for courtroom presentation. So there are a lot of things that I know about when we're talking about crime scene investigation, profiling criminals, and I've never gotten to use that for a career because I actually had my accident that caused all of the brain surgeries 1 month before I graduated with that degree. So after that, I wasn't able to meet the physical requirements anymore, so I've never been able to use that college degree. And now I'm going to put it to good use to write a thrilling crime novel. And I'm going to tell you about it right now. This book is called The Touch. It's a story about an agent with a gift for psychometry, but they don't consider it a gift. They try to deny they even have it. To them, it's a curse that they do not want, and unfortunately for them, it has occurred accidentally during cases they were working on, and it has proven to be useful in solving the case. They have a new guy who has heard about this gift, who joins their team, and he starts giving the agent a hard time about being a psychic. He takes an object from the case they're working on. It's a large black button, and he tries to get our agent to hold it and tell them who the perp is. When the agent refuses, the new guy jokingly grabs the agent and pushes the button against their forehead. The agent's mind is instantly flooded with horrific images of horror and death of the victim to whom the item belonged. The agent has a mental breakdown as a result and resigns from the FBI. They move back home to Kansas, buy a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and set up an animal rehab rescue facility. Just when they think their life is safe and quiet, the agent's grandmother, a member of the Wolf Clan of the Cherokee Nation, shows up unexpectedly to help the agent accept their gifts. She tries to teach the agent control and how to use their abilities the way all the women in their family line have done before them. The agent rejects the help until the FBI comes back, wanting them to help them on a tough case. The perp who tortured and killed the woman the button belonged to has come back and struck again. Now, this is the basis of the story that I'm going to be working on. I was really surprised. I was having such a hard time getting that final book in the Into the West saga serial finished, Into the West Family Ties. I have been working on that sucker for months, and it just was not coming. So I decided to shelve it for a while and try this book. And when I sat down to write this one, it just started pouring out of me the way all the other Into the West books had done before. So it's obvious to me that I do just need a break from that series and work on this book, The Touch. I've already got the cover made. I have the first chapter written. It was like nothing flat, like 2 days, just stream of consciousness. It was on the paper. The only thing is, I've been talking to a few friends and reaching out on TikTok and things like that to ask people who like to read crime novels, how dark is too dark for you when you're reading horror and these kinds of serial killer torture kind of books? Because I want to give a good story that keeps you on the edge of your seat and maybe even weird you out a little bit whenever you have to go to bed at night. But I also don't want it to be so dark and twisted that it leaves a lingering effect with you after you're done reading it. It's kind of a fine line that I'm trying to tread here and not cross over that sucker. So if you have any opinions, I would love to hear from you. You're always welcome to drop us a line at burkhartbooks.com. And if you are an avid reader of horror novels, I will be needing some beta readers for this whenever I get it done. So you can always drop a line and let me know that you'd like to be a beta reader for this, and you'll get a free e-copy of the book for that. I hope to be doing a cover reveal here very soon, and I'm thinking I might do it on TikTok. I have to admit, I fought so hard not to do TikTok. I already had Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and I had started something on Reddit and Tumblr, and I just had so many social media platforms that I was having to keep up with, and I was having a hard time doing my blog and the podcast and write my books. I mean, I could spend all of my time just doing social media and never even get to writing a book. But I finally broke down and I was like, okay, I'll just try it. I'll give it a shot. And I am so totally hooked. It is so fun. It is ridiculously fun. And the thing that's really amazing to me is how quickly followers are finding my profile on there and following me. I already have over 500 followers on there, and it's been about 2 weeks. And I am just now at 500 followers on Facebook, and I've had that for years. I'm just now at, I think, about 1,000 on Twitter, and I've had that one since about 2015, I believe. So here I'm already at 500 on TikTok when I've only been there about 2 weeks really doing, I made the account back in March, but I never did anything with it. And now I've been doing something with it the last 2 weeks, and I'm already at 500 followers. It is really incredible to me how more active TikTok is than all of the other social media platforms combined that I've been working on. I'm glad that I gave in. I'm glad that I finally started using it because it is a wonderful, wonderful resource to find readers, to find writers, to find reviews of books. I mean, if you are a reader, it is the best resource I have seen for finding new information on authors. You definitely have to check it out. And that's just not trying to get you to check out my stuff. I mean, check out all of TikTok, all of the authors. There are so many good ones on there. You really need to check it out. Book Talk is incredible. But enough about gushing about TikTok now. I do want to talk about gifts for the writers in your life. Because, a lot of writers have the same basic quirks of things that they like, but then there's also, everybody has their differences. But for some weird reason, we all seem to like coffee mugs with ironic sayings and blank notebooks. I don't know why that is. I admit I have that addiction too. I have so many blank notebooks. I do use some of them, and I am trying to rotate through and use all of them eventually. But there's probably always going to be more that I get because it really is an addiction. I always have to buy them whenever I see a cute one somewhere. One of the things that I thought was really funny was I was actually hosting a discussion group on Facebook for a while for female entrepreneurs that had problems with procrastination, that they had great ideas, but they really had a hard time just getting going. So we formed this support group to help boost each other and get our projects going. And a lot of women have really done well and gone on from that group to do fantastic businesses. And the thing is, though, whenever I started that group, I bought a notebook. And later on, I started thinking I probably should have looked at the cover of it a little bit better before I bought it. Because the notebook that I bought to keep notes for my procrastination book, it said, just do it. Then underneath it in small print, it said, later. It seemed appropriate and somehow so wrong. But here we go. We have the top 10 best gifts to get the writers in your life. And for friends and family, don't forget, my birthday is September 19th. Just saying. Okay. So number 10, bookends. Sometimes if you're like me, before I moved to Europe, I had so many books, there was no space for bookends. But now that I've moved over here and I had to get rid of almost all of my books before I moved, and I'm having to rebuild my library here, now I need bookends because I don't have as many books as I used to have. Bookends are great, or if somebody has so many books that they don't need a bookend to hold up the shelf, invisible shelves are fantastic. They are so cool. The way that it works is you put the shelf part inside one of the hard covers of a book, and then you stack all the books over it. It looks so great on a wall. I used to have those too. So, number 10, bookends or invisible shelves for the wall for people who have too many books for bookends. Number 9, as we talked about before, empty notebooks. It doesn't matter if they're leather bound or have cool designs on it. Any empty notebooks are fantastic. The cuter they are, the better, of course, but it doesn't have to be anything outrageously expensive. Some of my favorite ones I've bought at Comic-Con with some of my favorite comic characters on them, like Deadpool. I bought that one at the last Comic-Con that we went to. Find out the favorite characters of the writer that you're buying for and get them a cute empty notebook with their favorite character on the front. It will go over big. Number 8, coffee mugs. Writers live on caffeine. We have to have that cup of coffee or a cup of tea right beside us most of the time while we're writing. My favorite coffee mug before I met my husband said I only date superheroes. I ended up marrying a man whose nickname is Iron Man. So it can be prophetic. There are so many great coffee mugs out there. One that I keep seeing that I have to buy for myself. I'm going to get this one. It shows a picture of a hippie and it says, I'm mostly love, light, and peace, and a little go F yourself. But that is perfect for me. Number 7, style or reference books. As writers, we spend so much time looking things up. It's great to have reference books nearby. When I lived in the United States and I had my full library that I had purchased over the years, I had reference books for poison, for crime scene investigation, for evidence collection. I had, all kinds of things about how they do medical examiner procedures, how long it took for tests. Books on just the Chicago Manual of Style. When do you use a comma? When do you use a semicolon? When do you use a hyphen? These things come in so handy for authors. Even if it's just the world's biggest thesaurus, that is a fantastic gift. Number 6, writing software, or probably more to the point, formatting software. If the writer that you know does a lot of ebook sales, formatting software is fantastic. I use Macintosh, so I have Vellum. Vellum is amazing. They have been upgrading this thing so much since I first bought it just a year or two ago. The things that you can do with this now are just getting more and more impressive. And it's so easy. You just drop your text in there. It builds your table of contents. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It lays out your pages. It formats everything for you perfectly for Kindle, or if you're going to other places like Ingram Sparks or Barnes & Noble, it's all set up for you. You have all the different files for the same information in every format that you're going to need, if you're doing print, if you're doing ebooks, whatever. It even has a text-to-speech, which is fantastic when you're editing. You can have it read your text back to you and listen to it. And it is really incredible how many mistakes you can find that way. Vellum is a fantastic piece of software for people who use Mac. If they don't use Mac, I've heard that, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Scrivener is really good for a PC. I don't use PC, so I've never used this one myself, but I do know several people who do use it, and they seem very happy with it. Another piece of software that you could possibly get for somebody is something like Dragon Naturally Speaking software, so that you can just do like this, be talking, and it automatically types it all into the computer for you. I know somebody who just got this program recently, and they are very thrilled with how it works. Number 5. Noise canceling headphones. Yes. Not earpods, not small little headphones, the big ones like my studio headphones that I wear for doing the podcast that go completely around your ear and cancel out all the noise around you. This is fabulous for helping with your concentration. And plus, because it is the old-fashioned big headphones and goes around your ears, it's much more comfortable to wear for long periods of time. This is something that is just so helpful to me whenever I'm trying to really get into the writing zone and I need to focus, putting on some jazz music or 80s rock and just letting it go while I'm trying to get this stuff done. It helps keep me focused. Number 4, if you need a little inspiration, what about something fun like literary action figures? Especially like they have ones that look kind of like Barbie dolls that look more like people, but my favorite are always the Funko Pop figures. They have everything from Edgar Allan Poe. They've got characters from literature. It's so much fun. Get a collection going. We're going to be going to a Comic-Con here for my birthday. I plan to be looking at the Funko Pop things there and see if I can find some literary figures in this one. It's possible that it's going to be more characters, but I'm going to give it a shot and see if I can find Edgar Allan Poe, or I don't know. I'm kind of open to anybody who does classics. I love some of the classics, so I'll see what I can find. Number 3. This one, it can be either or and. You can always get a Kindle reader. Just the little e-reader is great. It doesn't have all of those extras. It's just a book reader. So you can carry it with you. You don't get distracted with playing games and things. You're just reading a book on there. It's great. My husband bought me one of those for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I love that thing. Whenever I would have my other Kindle, like the Kindle Fire that you had games and internet and everything, I'd end up stopping my book and checking my email or playing a game. And with the plain e-reader that doesn't have all of that, I usually actually read through the book more. So those things are great. Plus, you can get that with or separately a Kindle Unlimited subscription. Those things are incredible. A monthly fee, and you can read almost anything that's available on Kindle. And I would like to mention that all of the Into the West Saga serial books are available on Kindle Unlimited to read for free with your subscription. Okay, we're getting down to the last 2. These are a lot more expensive than the others, but they are so cool. Number 2, a typewriter keyboard to use with a tablet. I have wanted one of these things since I first saw it. I think I first saw it on The Big Bang Theory. I believe Leonard had one and was using it when he decided that he was going to try and write a novel. But it's just this little keyboard that looks like the old-fashioned typewriters, and when you type on it, it sounds like an old-fashioned typewriter. These usually can connect with either a USB or wireless, using Bluetooth. For the writer who wants to get the feeling of working on an old-fashioned typewriter, these things are super cool. One thing I will tell you, shop around, because I have seen these run from anywhere from about $120 to $600. So shop around and see what you can find. Now, number 1. The number 1 gift is a thing that I have just seen recently. It's fairly new, I believe. It's called free write. And what's really funny is it reminds me of a word processor that I had right about the time I graduated high school and started college, where it's just basically like an electric typewriter with a little tiny view screen about the size of a note card, and you just have text on there. And you can send it to a printer with Bluetooth to print out your work, but that's all it is. It's just like a little electric typewriter that has a screen instead of paper in there. And it helps the writer to keep from being distracted. There are no games. There are no apps. There's no internet. There is nothing to distract you from your writing. It is such a cool idea and very retro. Now, some of these that I've seen, they are kind of pricey right now. So it might come down in a couple of years because I think this is like a new thing. But you might want to go on eBay and just search for an old IBM word processor. It will be the same concept. I know a few writers who have actually even started going back to paper typewriters. They just wanted that nostalgic feeling of being, a writer in a different era, having less technology to help them keep focused on their story, which for some people that might be the perfect idea for how to keep their writing flowing. So you might want to talk to the writer in your life and see if that's something that they would be interested in. So there we go, people. 10 great gifts to get the writer in your life. Hopefully next week I'll be able to tell you when we're going to have Kara on. She is an expert at creating merchandising videos for the self-creator, for those entrepreneurs who are selling their own products and they want to have professionally looking product videos. She and I are trying to work out our scheduling. We had a date and things kind of got messed up, but we're working on it. And we were going to bring you her interview here very soon. She's so cool. You're going to love her. I think this is a good time to do our Writer's Prompt Challenge prompt for this week. For August 30th, we have, you wake up and find you have a new supernatural ability. What is it? How does it work? And what are you going to do with it? So don't forget, you can write up to 2 pages, double-spaced, send it in to us at burkhartbooks.com. And we are going to start reading these here on the air. I think we might do one next week. And then once every 3 months, we're going to pick one of the people that we have read on the air, or even just from all of them. We'll pick somebody from all of the entries to win a gift card to Amazon. And now it is that time, people. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and you will go forth with gusto and be happy.